right, we're going to call the meeting to order. The first order of business is for me to get sworn in as the new mayor of Chestertown.
The new old mayor of Chestertown.
Yeah, yeah.
Old mayor of Chestertown.
So do I just hand the stage to you, Mark?
Nope, you just come out front, raise your right hand.
I think you remember, it only 4 years ago, you did
Yeah, that's like turning in this town.
Will you hold it and then, because you'll have to sign it too, if you don't mind.
What do you want me to do?
Just hold it.
Okay.
And then when they sign it.
Now, Chris, if you want to opt to hold vote, you may do that, but I'm not about to do it.
Can't hurt.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me, inserting your name while I insert mine. I, Mark Mumford,
I, Chris Serena,
do swear or affirm
do swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
and I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
to the state of Maryland,
to the state of
and
Maryland,
support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
without
partiality or prejudice,
partiality or prejudice,
execute the position of Mayor of Chestertown, Maryland,
execute the position of Mayor of Chestertown, Maryland,
according to the Constitution and laws of this state.
according to the Constitution and laws of this state.
Congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, Mark should sign that for our records. I don't think you have to sign that one, but Chris does.
Take this out to him so he can sign it.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Hey, buddy.
Do we get a speech?
Right there, please.
No speech? So happy you didn't tell me that. I'll go prepare some.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I was in your neighborhood yesterday,
All right.
looking at the river frozen over down there.
So,
New
you can
council,
sign that, and then the
congratulations,
mayor.
good luck to you.
Thank you,
Mr.
sir.
Foster, good luck to you, congratulations. Good to see the other council.
Yeah, there's ones underneath for everybody, yeah.
The mayor says that.
Office for, I think we probably just do it in order of
Yep.
what ward they're in.
So, Mr. Foster, would you like to step forward?
I'm teasing. But I get it all. Oh, you did. Get it
Raise
all.
your right hand.
Bible, or you want me to?
I got too much going.
This is a lot.
So insert your name where I insert my name. I, Chris Serena,
I, David Foster,
do swear
do swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
will support the Constitution of the United States,
and that I will be faithful
and I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
and bear true allegiance
to the state of Maryland,
to the state of Maryland,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and that I will support
and I will support
and comply with the charter,
and I will support and comply with the charter,
laws, and ordinances of the town of Chestertown,
laws, and ordinances of the town of
and
Chestertown,
that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office of First Ward Council Member according to the Constitution and laws of this state. Got that one? All right, I'll break that down. Execute the office of First Ward Council Member
execute the office of First Ward Council Member
according to the Constitution and laws of this state.
according to the Constitution and laws of this state.
Yeah, all right.
Congratulations.
You do get a chance to say something if you'd like to say something.
Thank you.
I give a 10-minute speech when I got mine, so.
Did you really?
I did. It was the only chance I ever got to talk before Mayor Bailey did.
I'm gonna call my brother for it.
Okay, that's good.
Here's his, right now.
Right hand, left hand.
Now put your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand. You ready?
Yes, sir.
I, Chris Sereno,
I, Ellsworth Tolliver,
do swear
do swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
and that I will be faithful
and I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
and bear true
to
allegiance
the state of Maryland,
to the state of Maryland,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and that I will support and comply
and that I will support and comply
with the Charter,
with the Charter,
laws, and ordinances
laws, and ordinances
of the town of Chestertown,
of the town of Chestertown,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office of Third Ward Council Member
execute the office of Third Ward Council Member
according to the Constitution and laws of this state.
according to the Constitution and laws of this state.
Yeah.
No speech.
Got the You can say a few words.
The only thing that I would say is that I'm extremely excited about serving in this position. I'm looking forward to working with mayor and council on the agenda and having a lovely time serving. So I'm excited about
We'll
this.
see what we can do for you.
Yes, sir. Now,
you gotta sign.
I'm going to put on the agenda, and I've been thinking about this for a long time, but the mayor is a guitar player, and I'm a keyboard player.
Oh, there you go.
So be looking for the new rock band that's going to come out of this term.
I sing
also
tenor. I sing
Well, see,
tenor.
there we
You need a tenor?
go. Also want to acknowledge my uncle Robert, who's always been supportive of all the things that we have done as young men growing up in Chestertown. And we just lost Aunt Florence, his wife of 60 years, and I've asked him to be here with me tonight in support of the legacy that we have established. Thank you, Uncle Robert. Brother Armin Fletcher, we want to acknowledge him. He was the first African-American male to run for mayor in Chestertown. So we thank him for being here as well. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Now, where do I sign?
Right there.
In blood?
Yep.
I'm diabetic, so I don't know how much the blood will be good. All right. What do I say?
So we just go right into this report?
Yes.
So this is kind of an unusual meeting in that it's the very first meeting of the year, and at our first meeting of every year, it's actually in our charter that we read a summary report of the previous year's activities. So I usually don't sit here and read things that are any longer than a paragraph or two, but in this case, I'm going to be reading this 7-page report. So I'll try to be as animated and fun as I can, but at the end of the day, I'm reading a 7-page report, so please bear with me. And we did go over this, a fair amount of this at our last meeting, but here we go. Report of Municipal Affairs for 2017. The Charter of the Town of Chestertown states, "The mayor, during the first quarter of each calendar year, shall report to the council the condition of municipal affairs and make such recommendations as he or she deems proper for the public good and welfare of the town. Herein is the said report." Financials. The audit for the town of Chestertown for FY 2017 was completed on October 26th, 2017 by Lindsay and Associates LLC of Towson, Maryland. The audit showed the town to be in extremely strong financial condition with total net assets over liabilities in all departments of $14,280,201. During this year, the town again held the tax rate at 37 cents per $100 of assessed value. The town also retained the homestead property tax credit percentage of 5%, limiting the increase in a homeowner's property tax bill to 5% in any given year, no matter how much their assessment has increased. Staffing. The town currently has 42 full-time employees in 4 different departments. These departments include 6 in the office, 12 on the street crew, 9 people on the Utilities Commission, and 15 in the police department. There are also 4 part-time positions within the town. 3 are employees at the visitor center, and the police department has a part-time civilian administrative assistant. All departments are fully staffed and operating well. Activities and achievements in 2017. This was a successful year for Chestertown in many different areas. The economy built more momentum, and building permits for new construction were issued at a faster pace than in the previous year. There were economic opportunities that the town had laid the groundwork for in 2016 with the establishment of an enterprise zone that had begun to bear fruit for the community. The county and state joined us in this initiative, and over 1,000 acres of town properties became eligible for tax breaks under this program. The subsequent annexation of 79.67 acres of industrial, commercial, and residentially zoned land to the north of Chestertown yielded permits this year for a large industrial warehouse and office facility, 186,300 square feet, called the Dixon Distribution Center, and the construction of the initial infrastructure extensions of the main artery of Hawk Drive and a smaller interior road named Warner Drive. Permits are expected imminently for a large apartment complex that will ultimately consist of 174 units called the Chestertown Business Campus Apartments, and a Dixon headquarters building will be constructed in the new Chestertown Business Park. That's probably one of the biggest economic development initiatives that's happened in our community in many, many years. And it's going to be going on for several years, probably the whole rest of this term, I would think. The following is a description of some of the significant developments that took place in our town in 2017. Hospital oil spill action. The hospital oil spill remediation continued to be a serious town concern in 2017. The town's written agreement with the University of Maryland Medical System, known as UMS, that would indemnify the town and protect its well system should the hospital's oil plume or its remnants reach the municipal well field, remains in effect, with quarterly monitoring of the hospital wells continuing. The hospital indemnification provides the town with the cost of well replacement if it was proven that the contaminants had originated from the hospital spill. Additionally, the agreement called for UMS to install 3 additional monitoring wells on Campus Avenue, making a total of 7 Sentinel wells in place between the plume and the town's production wells. These wells were installed last year and are also being monitored quarterly. If there is further movement of the plume towards Campus Avenue and the production wells on Kent Street, the town is confident that that movement will show up in the strategically placed Sentinel wells first, alerting the movement to the 2 parties and triggering both an MDE consent agreement for the hospital to resume recovery efforts and the responsibility of the hospital towards the protection and preservation of the town's drinking water supply. That's a big issue that we just need to keep being vigilant about. The long-range status of the hospital. The mayor and council remain extremely concerned about the short-term and long-range status of the hospital in our community. It is crucial for so many reasons that hospital care and beds remain here because of our geographic location and distance to other facilities. Addressing our concerns, Shore Regional Health made a presentation to the mayor and council in November of 2017. New providers are in the area, ranging from private practice cardiologists to primary care physicians. The medical building on Philosopher's Terrace is now full of providers offering services that residents would have had to drive to Easton or Elkton to receive just a couple years ago. A rural health care study was performed this year, and recommendations will be forwarded to the state legislation that Chestertown be designated as a rural community access hospital, retaining inpatient beds, continuing as a full-service 24-hour-a-day emergency service center, and performing surgical services. Based on the current census, the Chestertown Hospital should have approximately 10 inpatient beds. Compass Regional now has space at the hospital in Chestertown that will be utilized as a residential hospice center. Moving on to the Chestertown Marina project. In 2017, the town forged on with all facets of the marina project. This effort is extremely complex due to the fact that the town must operate the marina while rebuilding it completely from the ground up. The massive capital financing arrangements of various grants, federal and state loans and bonds to make it all the more challenging. We have literally reached out in every direction to pull off this intricate project while retaining enough income to at least pay off the interest on the state of Maryland infrastructure bond issue that was used to purchase this facility in 2011. In 2016, the town again requested $1.5 million from the governor's capital budget. While the $1.5 million was not completely secured, the town did receive an additional $200,000 from the Waterway Improvement Fund, which raises the total from that fund to $800,000. We also received a $500,000 allocation from the Senate's capital budget and a $998,000 USDA grant loan that will help finish bulkheads, raise the grade of the property, and install some new docks. A resolution was passed in March to launch the bond program with USDA providing for a $598,000 loan program with a $400,000 matching grant. Finally, we received a magnanimous gift of $100,000 from Mr. Michael Lawrence to help us with this Herculean task. As of this reading, efforts to continue to secure grant funding are ongoing. And hopefully, once the river thaws out, we'll actually start doing some stuff down there with all that money. The Chestertown Marina project, work that we did complete in 2017, the Marina Basin was the focus of this year's efforts. Newly raised bulkheading and decking were installed from the old boat ramp to the river. A concrete boat ramp was installed, and the bulkheads and walkway were raised from the new ramp to the Scotts Point condominiums. The Williams Marine Building was removed at no cost to the town and relocated to Iowa by a local farmer, which allowed the new interpretive center to break ground last month. At present, the new center's footings and foundations are completed. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. It looks very cool. The new Marina Interpretive Center. The town has received $480,000 in grants from the Department of Housing and Community Development Strategic Demolition Fund and the Maryland Heritage Area Authority to begin construction on the new Marina Interpretive Center. The original bids for a two-story center were opened in August of 2017, and the bids were almost double the amount anticipated by the town. The town voted to work with the low bidder, Yerkes Construction, in an effort to bring the project into budget as a one-story building. Unit pricing was used to scale down the building with the architect and contractor's cooperation. The final version came in at about half the price and still accommodated all functions that were originally planned for the building. A contract was signed and construction began in November. Upcoming in 2018 at the marina, starting in the new year, the fuel dock and the northern transient dock will be removed and the area in front of the bulkhead will be dredged. The old marina office will be raised and the new raised bulkhead will be built from the office corner to the Sultana Pier at the foot of Cannon Street. This and the new walkway that goes with it will eliminate a hazard that we constantly have had to monitor and repair on the old walkway. Following the dredging, a new floating fuel dock will be installed and lengthened, and the Sultana Pier will be extended with fixed docking. If it is within the budget, the southern pier will also be removed, extended, and replaced. Once the bulkheads are raised and all of the underground electrical, water, sewer, and storm drain lines are installed, the land will then be elevated by 2 feet from the river's edge, tapering back to ground level approaching Water Street. So hopefully we'll see some of that happen this year. Annexation. Annexation of just over 149 acres of land that has no residents or other property owners and has functioned exclusively as the town's wastewater treatment plant since 1967 became official in December of 2017. The annexed area is located in Ward 2 and is zoned institutional. Margot Bailey Park, Marty Stetson territory. This year, the dog park, through donations of Friends of the Dog Park, was able to build a second pavilion in the area designated for small dogs. Training aids and play equipment for visiting canines will be built this year with the volunteer help of Yerkes Construction and Washington College's Habitat for Humanity. The Friends of the Dog Park will pay for materials, but the labor will be donated. Wilmer Park Playscape, also known as the Broad Reach Sculpture. In 2017, the Broad Reach Sculpture became a reality with the help of a $25,000 grant from the National Endowment for the Arts Art Town grant and private donations in the amount of $139,000. The David Hess sculpture was delivered to Wilmer Park in late September, at which time Yerkes Construction donated a crane and the substantial footings for Broad Reach. Anthony's Flowers and Landscaping graded the site and installed sod around the sculpture as their gift to the project. The dedication ceremony was held on Saturday, October 14th, and the piece was designated in honor of Alex Castro, who had served as a leader towards the field of art in this community for many years. Once the ropes protecting the new sod were dropped around the playscape, children began to climb the large stainless steel structures, which evoked the image of a crashing wave and a sailboat riding the wind. And no, it's not a skateboarding ramp. Sale of the old Chestertown Police Station. The former police department building at 333 South Cross Street was sold to Sultana Education Foundation in April of 2017. The space is now being used as staff quarters for the Sultana crew. Visitor Center and special events. The Visitor Center was open 360 days last year and had approximately 11,565 visitors. June was the most active month with 1,509 visitors, followed by 1,403 visitors in May and 1,259 in October. Major events in 2017 included Chestertown Tea Party Festival, Sultana's Downrigging Weekend, the 4th of July fireworks, the National Music Festival, Legacy Day, Music in the Park, the Jazz Festival, Taste of the Town, the HP Festival, Riverfest, Dickens of a Christmas, Chester Gras, Santa's Arrival, and DCA's very popular First Fridays program. And sort of as a footnote there, we used to have this thing called Winterfest weekend in the first weekend of December, and that was combined with First Friday in December, which then commingled this year to become Dickens of a Christmas, which was very, very successful. It could only be described as a true winter wonderland in Chestertown and a renewed holiday spirit through town. What a wonderful success. Special thanks to Kay McIntosh and the revived Main Street Chestertown program for their creative energy. We are looking forward to next year. Curb Appeal in DCA. The Downtown Chestertown Association's Curb Appeal program continued to beautify the town, including the yearly edition of the spectacular lights and garlands during this year's holiday season. Our thanks go out to all the Curb Appeal volunteers and to the head of the DCA, Kristen Owen. We also congratulate the Chestertown Garden Club for the beautiful Christmas decorations of Fountain Park and surrounding environs on High Street. Louisa D.A. Carpenter Park. Phase 1 of the Washington Park open space was completed with the addition of painted park benches from Fountain Park, horseshoe pits, and swing set installation. A community parks and playground grant request has been submitted for Phase 2 that, if awarded, will include a walking trail, renovation of the basketball park, and a pavilion if the grant is fully funded. Farmers and Artisans Markets. The Farmers and Artisan Market in Fountain Park continues to fill downtown with a special social and economic vitality on Saturday mornings. Elections. An election was held on Tuesday, November 7th for mayor, 1st Ward, and 3rd Ward. To the light of all citizens of Chestertown, Chris Serino decided to run for a second term and ran unopposed in a landslide victory. 1st Ward Councilmember Liz Gross and 3rd Ward Councilperson Sam Shogay did not seek a second term. We thank them for their service and dedication to Chestertown. We welcome tonight, debuting, the new 1st Ward Councilmember David Foster and the new 3rd Ward Councilmember Reverend Ellsworth Tolliver. Public information. The town utilizes Constant Contact Facebook and a revamped website at www.townofchestertown.com to provide information to the public. James Egan continues doing a great job of getting our mayor and council meetings on air via the local cable channel and YouTube. The town's website, go check it out. The town website is super friendly, user-friendly for residents and visitors alike, and is updated on a daily basis. Thanks to Ms. Francois Sullivan of Mood Productions for her continued efforts to keep the site current and functional. There have been 47,065 unique visitors, spending an average of 2.8 minutes and viewing an average of 2.46 pages during each visit. Those are pretty precise stats, I must say. Marketing Committee. The Marketing Committee continued with meetings this year in an effort to rebrand the town and standardize our street signage. Goals for 2018. Keep taxes at the same rate if possible while maintaining our chartered service responsibilities. Work with the Kent County Commissioners to continue to discuss the possibility of reinstating a tax differential and or a tax rebate in Chestertown, something they did for us for many years and discontinued during the Great Recession, never to return, to our great dismay. Work with the county to address the apparent unfairness of hotels and B&Bs paying room rental taxes while newer forms of transient rental activities such as Airbnb and VRBO elude the tax. We see that as a potential revenue stream for us in the county that is not being collected, basically. Aggressively pursue all forms of public and private funding to complete the revitalization of Chestertown Marina. I feel like that's been on this every year since I started, and I think that is true. Continue our work with businesses, business associations, industries, and institutions to improve the local economy and keep our storefronts filled. Support all events, festivals, and celebrations that bring our town to life. Protect the town's drinking wells at all costs. Repave or repair streets as part of a comprehensive long-term plan. Another goal, complete Phase 4 of the rail trail to Foxley Manor, and we are, I believe, about to secure some funding to make that happen, so that may be a 2018. You happy about that? Yeah. It's been on the list for a long time. There's been a lot of holdups, so that's probably going to be green-lighted hopefully this year. All right, create a new branding for Chestertown that will be incorporated into town signage, add directional signage throughout the community, work with Washington College to design, engineer, and identify funding sources for the planned waterfront walk along the Chester River on college-owned lands between Wilmer Park and the mouth of Radcliffe Creek. Another goal, continue to improve our recreation programs, expand recreational activities for all ages in Chestertown, and involve the input of our youth in the decision-making process. Another goal is to encourage and expand recycling, all other greening efforts, increase public awareness of the need and advantages of these efforts, and continue to plant trees to reach the town's canopy bulk goal, which I believe was 40%.
Yes.
Yeah, and we're in like the high 20s, I think. Increase efforts to bring heritage and ecotourism to Chestertown through the use of the website and social media, and continue to promote the community as an arts and entertainment destination. Lastly, we would like to work with the medical community, Eastern Shore delegation, Kent County commissioners, and residents to advocate for retention of services at our local hospital. And I can tell you that's going to be something that's going to be every year for the next 4 years as well. That's going to be an ongoing battle. I hate to use that word, but that's kind of what it is. Last words, acknowledgements. Finally, I'd like to take a few minutes to thank all of those individuals who donated their time and talents to make Chestertown a better place in 2017. Thanks to the Chestertown Volunteer Fire Company and the Kent and Queen Anne's Rescue Squad, who put their lives at risk to protect our property and loved ones. I would also like to add, without those two services, our budget would be a mess. Like, they save us so much money by being a volunteer fire company especially, but also the rescue squad. It's really something we should never take for granted. Thanks also to the dozens of commission members, committee members, task force members who donate their time to help the town review applications, coordinate growth, and formulate future policy. Without your help, there's no way we could function. Next, I'd like to recognize the volunteers who directly or indirectly assist with the town with all the events and activities that bring excitement, pride, and a sense of identity to Chestertown. These include individuals, local businesses, and nonprofits that do what they do all year long without expecting any thanks in return. Finally, thank you to the employees of the town who carry out their jobs with pride, a sense of responsibility to our citizens, and attention to detail. While our beautiful river, historic buildings, Washington College, and the laid-back lifestyle of the Eastern Shore make Chestertown a unique and enjoyable municipality in which to live, it is the people in our community that make it a truly special place. So that's the report on municipal affairs for 2017, and hopefully we'll have an equally nice report at the end of this year. Whew, a lot of reading, So is this where we kick you out and go to Bob Simpson?
Bob Sipes, I don't think he's gonna make it if he hadn't posted. And I mean,
Are you
when we
gonna?
get to that point, I'll say a couple things that I know is
Well, why don't we
handling right now.
go ahead and call the Utilities Commission meeting to order then, if Bob's not here. It's 7:58 PM. And the first item on the agenda for the Utilities Commission tonight is to approve the minutes of the Utilities Commission meeting December 4th.
I'll move that we approve the
2017.
Utility Commission meetings for December the 4th, 2017,
Second.
as submitted.
All right, there's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Let the record show that the first action of this council was to unanimously approve the minutes of the Utilities Commission meeting. We're already making things happen.
Yes.
Of December 4th, 2017. The operating funds on hand for the Utilities Commission on January 2nd of 2018, total cash on hand is $1,033,084.61. And the capital funds for water and sewer hookup, there is $770,000, which brings the total to $1,803,084.61. The next item under Utilities Commission meeting is the payment of the bills.
I'll move to pay the bills as submitted.
And I'll second it again.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Let the record show that we unanimously agree to pay the bills.
Yes.
Again, just harmony right
This
off.
council's on point.
Filling in for the inimitable Bob Sipes is the often imitated, but never replicated,
Thank you, Mayor. I just wonder what you were gonna.
Bill Ingersoll.
Always. So, the reason Bob's not here is probably evident outside on Cross Street and Washington Avenue. This kind of weather brings line breaks, and not major line breaks. I don't think we have a problem generally with meters, personal meters, laterals coming away from the main. The main stays flowing just about all the time. Laterals don't always. So the one on Cross Street, I think, had occurred on Friday or Saturday, because I was seeing water ponding at the lower intersection. The one on Washington Avenue happened, I think, today. But I'm sure he's out there right now, making sure that, because when they burst like that, they come up on the surface and cause ice in the gutters and at the intersection, so it becomes a danger. It looks like there's a snowstorm on the corner of Cannon Street and Cross.
Look like that on Washington Avenue this morning.
Yeah, and there's just no way with this cold that salt's going to get rid of it. So hopefully we'll have a little bit milder day tomorrow. Maybe we'll get some meltdown on that. And I think the ones on Cross Street were fixed. But again, they're on those laterals, and some of the laterals are very old. And if water's not moving through them into the business, they're just victims.
Yep.
Of what can happen. So I'm sure that's why he's not here. He's very conscientious about being here. He says he's inimitable.
And I stand by that statement. Okay. Are there any questions or comments for Bill Ingersoll sitting in as Bob Sipes today?
Well, I talked to Bob this morning, and he said that the state roads wants the road blacktop. Washington Avenue. He said, where do you get blacktop this time of the year?
We don't, the hot mix is not available at all. There will be no hot mix. The Bramble plant closed down before Christmas, and it's too cold to be made, so I guess that's an enigma. We should have just left it for the state highway to fix.
Yeah, tell them to come back to the road.
Yeah, as I say, they're not town water mains. These are laterals to private parties, and we still step in because no one has the ability to fix that personally, especially not out on a state road where there's plenty of rules and regulations about even breaking the surface. So that's a problem, and it's been a problem that maybe someday we can address as a council, is that working relationship with the state highway when we're on their state roads. It's a bear. It's a bear to do, and so we've had to make changes in the routing of sewer lines before so we could avoid state roads. So it'd be nice if they worked with us a little bit better about that.
All right, any other questions? Okay, is there a motion to close the Utilities Commission meeting?
You might make,
Make a motion to close the utilities.
Well done.
Second.
All right, there's a second out there. All those in favor?
aye.
Any opposed? All right, the Utilities Commission meeting is closed. I'm going to go ahead and open the mayor and council meeting. It is now 8:03 p.m. Our first item on the agenda for this evening is to approve the minutes of the mayor and council meeting of December 18th, 2017.
I'll move to approve the mayor and council meetings as submitted for December the 18th, 2017.
There's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Let the record show we unanimously approve the minutes. Total operating funds on hand for the town of Chestertown this evening. Total operating cash on hand for unrestricted use tonight is at $1,356,201.69. Broadreach donations, we're still $25,649.65 in the hole, but of that, $20,000 has been pledged but not yet received, so we're still chasing down some donations there. And then we have one outstanding reimbursement request from a Waterway Improvement Fund grant in the amount of $23,170.
Before you vote on the payment, or just on this, the Broadreach, we received a stock donation last week, late, in the range of $25,000 towards that debt of the Broadreach. So
that's going to be...
It has to be liquidated into cash, and I believe it was. So it's not on there, but we're getting pretty close to having that,
Zero.
not having to report that.
That would be nice.
Yep, I think it was a calendar year 2017 thing, last minute for the donor.
Got it. All right, next item is payment of the bills.
Well, somehow, I don't know where my list is, but since I signed most of those checks, I'll move to approve the bills as submitted.
All right, is there a second?
Yes, second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, let the record show we unanimously agreed to pay our bills this week, which is always nice. That brings us to the fourth item on the agenda, which is John Queen of the Bayside Hoyas, who's been sitting there very patiently, listening to me read about.
I like hearing what's going on.
All right, all right.
I bought gifts too. First, I let the women pick first. I got mediums, larges, and one extra large.
I like them big.
Uh-oh.
I like my
Fellas,
shirts
mediums.
big. Thanks, John.
Thank you very much.
Sweet.
Got one large left, Chris.
What are you trying to say? I'm working on it.
I keep working on that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, so first, good evening, council, mayor, new council members. Thank y'all for having me. The shirts you all have is actually why I'm here to talk today. It's a new program in Kent County called Reconnect for Life, so I figured I'd bring everyone the shirts today.
Thank you.
Yes. So, of course, everyone knows me from being president and co-founder of the Bayside Hoyas. Great relationship with the town of Chestertown. It's been continuing over the years. So, with your 7-page report, a lot of that you said, I'm proud to say that the Hoyas support that and vice versa with our organization. So it was a no-brainer for me to come and talk about this program and the effect it has on Chestertown and Kent County. So Reconnect for Life is an initiative from Governor Hogan where his 4 initiatives were homeless kids, kids that dealt with hunger, and then kids of incarcerated parents, and then the one that I'm running, they call Opportunity Youth, but we just call them youth, high-risk youth. And that program is for anyone who is 16 to 24 years of age, who is currently not working or currently not enrolled in school. And that's the initiative that I'm the project manager of here in Kent County. The Bayside Hoyas has partnered with Merlin Road Development Corporation and also the Family Center here in Chestertown. So our job is to find as many of the Reconnect for Life kids, 16 to 24, who aren't working and who aren't in school. Once we do that, we take them down after we identify them to the Family Center and we start putting them to the different resources, jobs, education, resume building, leadership development, whatever they need. After they can do that, get a job, then we start trying to find them housing and things of that nature. The reason I wanted to come is to talk about how we can work together as a community, and I'm not just doing you all, I just done you all first because, you know, we got it like that. But how we can work as a community to get the referrals higher and get these youth the opportunities and the assistance that they need. So one of the problems that I'm having in Kent County is that a lot of people just aren't aware of the services. So I know in Chestertown, a big bulk of the youth that I deal with are in Chestertown city limits. And a lot of these people aren't aware of the resources. So I wanted to come here and see if is there a way where I can work with the town to broaden the resources, information, so to speak, so that way the community at hand knows about it. With them knowing, of course, one of the issues I find is they feel like charity cases sometimes, a lot of the kids that I'm helping. But it's my job to translate that feel or that vibe into something positive and say, this is helping you. It's a lot of resources within town, whether it's social service, whether it's having a negative report about the Department of Juvenile Services, whether it's not knowing where the Family Center is. Small things is filling out applications in town. It's becoming a barrier to the 16 to 24 demographic that has become so wide. And I'm learning this now when I'm doing specific statistics and tracking of how they feel, where they live, how they work, childcare. The divide is becoming so wide that one of the concerns for the program is we're going to lose 2 generations of kids very soon because we're not being proactive to go out there and give them the information they need. What they do with the information once we give it to them, that's a burden that they have to man up to and own that. But I think just in Kent County as a whole, we can do better by making the resources more known. So with Chestertown, I just wanted to come here, talk about the program, and see is there any way in the future we can work together to get these resources into these communities. Because it's a lot of things that I hear until I do my research that I don't know if it's true or not. Like one of the concerns is childcare. The big three concerns are jobs, public transportation, and childcare. And of course, I'm not asking the council to solve all three of these because that's a wider issue for the entire county. I come to hear that in childcare, some people might want to open up offices, but the application fee is $5,000. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what people are telling me. So I told them, I don't know, I'll ask when I present. But things like that are issues that I need help with. I go to organizations, institutions, church, council members. I need help to provide to these kids. They take my word on, I'm Mr. Queen of the Hoyas, but that's not enough for me to help them through these barriers. So that's all I really wanted to come, talk about the program. But my main concern is how can we work together as community members to push this to the people. And a lot of people that I deal with from 16 to 24 are under the poverty line. So we're really helping kids in poverty. And the program is designed to be 2 generational. So by helping a 24-year-old, we're helping possibly their mother, possibly their aunt, or possibly securing a future for their kids. So that's really the spill for today.
Where are you going to find these kids right now? Like where are some of your go-to
everywhere
connections that you're using?
Outbreak. So you had the 5 towns in the county, but we'll just talk specifically Chestertown. Because I'm in the know with the kids, I go out my house and it's every day. I can just say, hey, I know you're not working and I know you're not working. I need to help y'all. Let me go. But the main spots, it was a study showing that Dunkin' Donuts was a main spot.
Like a hangout spot?
Yes, a hangout spot, yes. You get 3 to 6 kids there. That traffic is going to DJS. They're not sitting and having a latte at Dunkin' Donuts. They're either using a Wi-Fi or going upstairs to DJS. Some of the other places in the study will show that the library is where kids feel most welcome. I have a great partnership with the library. Not saying that the library tolerates them, but they're there for the Wi-Fi. They're not there using the computers looking for jobs. They're not there gaining knowledge by reading books. So these spots that everyone thinks is a great thing that these kids are here, it's not a great thing because you know they are there, but no one is giving them the resources to use these buildings properly. I would say the 400 block, Garnett Elementary. My kids go there. I can stand outside of that school and find, my goal is find one person a day. I find one person a day every day since I started this program. Right. So I think the original Chesapeake Charities done a research where I think they said it was 188 from their studies. For my opinion, running this program, I think it's about 1,200. Because a lot of people aren't reporting that. A lot of people won't give information because they think several reasons. I got a warrant, Mr. Queen. It has nothing to do with what I'm trying to help you to do. What I have found out in the Latino community, I've went to, the stretch where the Latino stores is and personally went in there, and I've heard from the Latino members in that store or people who come in as customers that they feel like they have no voice. And right there alone, I have a whole pool of people who don't know anything about resources or won't say anything for one reason or another. So the number, I think, in the county is so big that we need kind of all hands on deck. Another reason I came here because most of the people here I know in the community and you all care about the youth genuinely. I've gone some places in the county and I know they genuinely don't care. They're checking off a box. But the people here I've seen converse with the community and they're really advantageous, I guess the word would be, on helping the youth. So I just came here to see how we can start putting our minds together where we're making a concerted effort to help this generation, not just point them to the resource, but show them how that resource and their way of life need to change for them to be productive. Because ultimately, a lot of these kids I'm dealing with, we're moving as soon as we get old enough, Mr. Queen. We're leaving. I don't care if I go to West Virginia, I don't care if I go to Queen Anne's County. We want to leave this community. And we're just trying to teach the kids that be proud of where you come from and come back here and invest and give your resources here to help the community grow. But if they're seeing no hope it's hard for me to pitch that to them right now.
So do you need a place to like advertise your program? Like put flyers on the desk at town hall or like have a spot on our website? Are you looking for like publicity? Or are you looking for?
Always yes, because the more people are blasting it, the merrier. Because case in point, like something on your website. If something was on your website and they see it, what's this program about? And then they follow up with it. That person that read it might be employed, but they might have a daughter or a grandchild that's unemployed. So definitely getting the word out in a bigger sense of the word. Like with the arts community, when they galvanize and do something, like some of the reports you heard, some of the money that was given.
Yeah.
But it's another part of Chestertown that isn't even being touched. And we see this. Of course, when I say we, I'm speaking for the community. They see the disparity, they see how everybody reaches out for the art district, and they can't get a job. So they're starting to come to programs like my program, and then these offshoots like Reconnect for Life and saying, well, what about us? Right now, I'll be honest, I don't have a real answer for them. Because it's hard to say, not just Chestertown, anywhere in Kent County, this money went to this park, or this money went to this building. And then they say, well, Mr. Queen, you still using your money. Not Bayside Hoya, so to speak, but the money isn't coming in like they see it for everything else. They don't want to be around that because they seem hopeless. And that's the thing with Reconnect for Life. We're trying to get them reconnected to feel like their life is important. It's hard right now. I always worked around children with the Bayside Hoyas, but this demographic is a little different because some of these people are single parent moms or young men who just got out of jail. And you're seeing them because I'm around them 24/7. When you hear someone in a family, single mom with 3 kids, work with someone else about food stamps, and then they do their food stamp pool together and they got $11. And they're in the store arguing about should they get bread and eggs. I'm the type I'm gonna reach in my pocket. But my question is, why are they living like this? What's up with your food stamps? Now, a lot of it is they're misusing the food stamps. 3 people, you're getting $400, and your money's gone in 2 weeks. What are you doing? But that's the type of change in their thinking that I'm been accessible to do, things of that nature. So,
Do you have other staff working with you?
you already know I'm the show.
That's it.
Now, I will say this with the partnership. So, Maryland Rural Development Corporation, the executive director is Chris Benzine. That's who the check went to. The big money went to him. So he brought me in as a partner because I'm on the ground. And then the Resource Center in Kent County with Lisa Mazingo, if I pronounce her last name right, she works there. But in that building is Lisa. And then you have Sheila who runs Housing and Authority. And then you have Leanne who runs the Job Center. So once we get them there, we'll start sending them to appropriate resources within that building. So once that happens, we'll start to see the fruits of that labor if they stay with it. My job is to stay on top of them, mentor them through that process. So,
You getting any help from local management board? Rosemary, local management?
not as far as define help.
Well, in terms of getting organized and having some capital to work with, so you can go.
I would say yes to that, because my role is more so interaction with the youth, getting them to this building, helping them. The LMB has been very supportive of anything I do or my name is attached to. And when I say my name, I mean the Bayside Hoyas. The same thing with the town of Chestertown. It's several organizations who will help, but the thing is, how do they help? You understand? It's hard to get 15 organizations who say, John, we want to help you, but I don't really know how to help this type of plague that's in the community right now. Because it's bigger than John Queen referring somebody to a resource building. Because I'm pretty sure if we look at the numbers, at least 40% of Kent County is probably going to social service for some type of aid. But that's not making their life a better quality. So that's it in a nutshell.
John, I want to say something from, this side of the fence, so to speak, is, trying to hire people. When you have people fill out applications for jobs, and I found over the past several years The people can go online and look at a resume and fill out a perfect resume. But they have no skills
Correct.
for that resume. You hire a person because they have a wonderful resume, they talk good, and then you find out they can't do the job.
Right.
This is a big downfall right now, and it creates a lot of turnover with employees.
Agreed.
Because people just don't want to work, or they can't stay off their cell phone, or any kind of, situation like that. I think that should be a big factor in helping people find a job, to make
Agreed.
sure they have the skill and the will to do the job, instead of just showing up for work and expecting to get paid. Then, on the other hand, when you talk about $11 in food stamps, now, there is a formula for food stamps, and if you have resources from Social Security through disability or SSI, that is the state formula that is used to base how much people get in food stamps.
Correct.
So, on the other hand, budgeting.
Yes.
People don't know how to budget. I work with this all the time, and it's, if you say somebody's only getting $11 in food stamps,
No,
everybody
that's all they
feels-
had left out the
Oh,
400.
it had a left, yeah, so there
It
you
is a budget
go.
problem,
There's
yeah.
your budgeting, so it's like, I would like to see what basically classes are available for,
Right.
this 16 to 24.
And that's what I'm
Because
working on
24,
finding
you
out
should have
about.
been in the workforce, if you're not still in school, you should have been in the workforce.
It's not that easy here in King
Yeah.
County. It's not that easy.
And then we've got help wanted signs,
It's not that easy. It's a cultural disconnect with even employment in this county. So let's use the internet going online. Kids don't have internet, so they can't go online. And it's a bigger burden to go to a job interview. This is a true story that happened 3 weeks ago, and I watched a girl have a nervous breakdown. She has no internet. Cool, I'm gonna come pick you up, take you to the library myself. Drop her off, she does what he does. She gets a job interview. She has no clothes because she has no money to buy clothes. Cool, my wife is going to give you some clothes. Don't worry about that. She took care of that. Now the next problem came along where I don't have no child care. Grandmother can't watch the kid. This person, no, I can't afford it. I have nowhere to send this kid. I'll keep your kid. When you're 16 to 24, you're not working and you're not employed, it's bigger sometimes than filling out an application. It's bigger sometimes than knowing how to budget. It's a lifestyle that wasn't taught to you by your mom, your father, or the generation that preceded you.
I understand.
So when we reconnect them for life, it's really like starting from scratch with a lot of these people because they have no idea of any of the things you just said.
Right.
And it's depressing because you like, how don't you know how to fill out an application? When you write down jobs, I watched a girl write babysitting. That's not a job. That's not a job. Watching your neighbor's kid getting $20 for the week is not a job. But that's all she had. And she's 23.
So what time frame from beginning to being able to get a job are you working with? Are you working with 6 months, 12 months?
Once I get involved with the program, it's a lifetime commitment I have to you. I'm not going to, let's say I meet somebody at 21 and you turn 24 and this program is over and I'm just going to stop. I won't stop dealing with you because you cycled out. A lot of people I've met already are 24 years old. But when I met you, you was 24, so I'm still going to use this program to help you even if you cycled out at 25.
And then do you educate them on, if you are working full-time, 40 hours a week, that you're going to lose, your benefits, or you've got to find another Medicaid program that will help them with their medical?
That's another issue, because a lot of people, because it's I don't want to say blame, but it's on both sides where we can look at things. So let's say the 40 hours a week, and you're going to work and do manual labor for 40 hours a week, but you were just making more money in food stamps, sitting at home on your internet smoking marijuana all day. That's the type of choices that these kids are making. I'd rather sit home and get $600 in food stamp, $400 in cash assistance, and not go to school. But that's not to blame on these young people because they don't know no better. They're being given an easy road, but they need to understand these resources are meant to help you as a crutch, but then move you to another level. We're getting stuck and complacent from 16 to 24, living in poverty, that this area that was supposed to be a crutch or just a little one-time help is our lifestyle. That has to be changed, and it's hard to change right now.
John, do you have any success stories, anybody who's been successful at the work that you're trying to do? Has the program not been together long enough to?
Well, the physical year started July 1st, but I technically started with the program August 14th. My job is to identify 40 people who don't work and who aren't in school. Everyone on this panel know I can find 40 kids with my eyes closed. I think right now, legitly signed up, I have 33 kids.
How many of them have moved on to the next level?
0 yet.
Okay.
But it's small trials and tribulations.
Okay.
I'm ahead of the curve with finding the kids, but this is a new program, and these are all new initiatives that every county is working out the kinks. The hard thing with Kent County is we were so small, Kent County and Somerset, that we don't have any hard data for our numbers.
Okay.
So I'm trying to find hard data. Case in point, and I'll use her name because I know she wouldn't have a problem with this. A young lady named Whitney Wright. She's one of my star members of this program right now. When I first met her 5 years ago, she was beating up grown men outside. Grown men. This is a female. I'm pretty sure she's receiving food stamps. She lives in subsidized housing. But something clicked in her with me dealing with her where her mind changed a little bit. She started believing she can get a job. She started believing that I don't have to deal with this type of environment if I don't want to. For that young lady to talk to me like that, she didn't like me when she first met me because I held her to a standard. For her to talk like that, and not only do that, my friend needs a job. He needs a job. She needs a job. I look at those as success stories. Programming wise, like actually going through the process, we're 4 months in right now.
Okay.
So as we get our rhythm, which at the top of the year, I wanted to come and talk to all the councils to just get input and feedback. I'll start implementing certain things that has to happen down once I get the kids herded in, and now I got this group of kids to pick from. But out of that 40, we're supposed to take 10 and walk them through the process and make sure those 10 are successful moving forward, and then just keep regenerating a new 40 kids at 40 at a time to go through.
John, can you expand just a little bit in terms of what are these metrics? How are you going to tell when you're successful at the end of this year?
See, that might be a little bit above my pay grade. Because what it is, so it's a team. So the programming and the data is Merlin Road Development Corporation.
Okay.
So I have a link on my phone. And if you say, okay, Mr. Foster, you're not working, cool. Here's a link, I want you to fill this out. And that asks you questions. Do you use drugs? Have you graduated high school? Are you a veteran? Just the typical type of protocol questions they ask. And you'll fill it out, and that generates data. But also, if you didn't have a resume before you met me, and you didn't have a job, but then we take you to the resource building, and you get a resume filled out, you learn proper interviewing skills, and you wind up getting a job, that's data. So the data is being tracked by somebody else. I'm pretty sure everything I'm doing has data, but I don't follow the data until I get out of work mode.
Okay, but the people who are funding you
yes.
have some measures of success.
Yes.
And
we haven't reported that yet to the LMB. I think our reporting date is February, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll report the data to them and what we found up to this point and all the data that we have come to find out what they wanted, and we found out even more of what they didn't even ask for and how that affects the community. So yes, there's a lot. My executive director words exactly were, there's so much data, heads will spin. So there is being data kept. I just don't keep that type of data.
I think the way that we can best support you is through helping you get the word out.
Yes.
Through advertising, whether you want to put flyers at the front desk at Town Hall, or we want to feature a link to your program on the homepage of the town's website. I think that's very doable.
I like the way you're talking right now.
I know.
Yeah. We here. I think something like a link would be something very good. Because the hard thing now, like a lot of people for some reason think I know everybody in Kent County. I don't know 22,000 people personally. So putting that link on something like your website, and I heard y'all talk about the traffic today on it, They click that link, and that link for that person, I give all the questions they need to answer, and once they click that in, you're technically in the program. And then that's what I'll do to follow
I
up.
assume you guys have a website that we could,
Maryland Rural Development does, but as far as that link, it's just a link that you click that asks you question about where you are in life. Like, I know what they call it, but I can't think of it off my head. It's like a grading system, like 1 through 10. 10 being the most successful, 1 being eating habits. Are you a 1, bad eater, fast food, or 10, very knowledgeable about food and the resources and when they come from? So it's that type of scale. I just forgot what it's called off the top of my head.
Well, if you come into my office whenever, we can sit down and I can get you in touch with our webmaster to get that link up
All right.
with your contact information. We could do that in minutes. Yeah.
That's why I came.
and you're gonna be on Channel 3, which is watched by
Everyone.
millions of people.
So many of them.
But thank y'all for y'all time. Y'all always been more than receptive to the base of our Hoyas and what we're doing in the community. Continued success, and congratulations to all the new council members. So thank y'all very much.
Thanks for coming, John.
Thanks, John.
Y'all don't have to wear them shirts. If y'all want to give them back, I'll take it.
Hey, John, please take this because it's not big enough for me. I went through this last year, and I don't want you to bring the size that would fit me either.
You got a medium too?
Whatever I got.
I can bring y'all shirts back.
That's
later.
okay.
Thank you.
My
Thank
wife
you.
can wear it, she'd wear
Thank
it.
y'all.
All right,
Yeah.
you're up next, Bill. Town manager's report.
Me. Okay. First thing I have is Chester Grass is just around the corner, February 10th. It'll be here before you know it. And it's part of the backpack program, the community food pantry. And here's what they asked for. Hold a parade as part of the Chester Grass celebration on February 10th, 2018 at 1 p.m. Parade participants will stage on Dixon, proceed down High Street to Lawyers Road, turning left on Lawyers Row, proceed around the monument and Fountain Parks, and disband at the corner of Spring Avenue and Calvert Street. A 40 by 60 foot tent with bump outs erected on Spring Avenue between High Street and Park Row. It's anticipated the tent will end before the post office building. The tent will be erected by Eastern Shore Tents and Events. That sounds like the tent's in a little bit different spot this year.
It is.
Because it was on High Street last.
I thought last year was fabulous. They put so much hard work into this, and they started asking early. They thought they were almost too late with this, even though we're a month ahead of them. So I'm going to assume that the council has no problem with this annual event. It's one of those ones that has a direct community benefit.
And they're, within their 30 days.
That sounds good.
They call a lot, so. And we have a donation we give to that each year. We already have sent it to them. I think it's $1,500 towards the backpacks. It's already been sent.
I think
It's already
it
been
might even
done.
be a little more.
It's done. The MBA schedule, I don't know if anybody really wants to hear that. They come here once a month. It's for the next 6 months. There's only one visit day in January due to Martin Luther King Day. That's on January 16th. The 2 days in February are the 12th and the 13th, and we can get this to you in writing. March, it'd be the 12th and the 13th, April, the 16th and the 17th, May, the 21st and the 22nd, and June, the 18th and the 19th. Again, that Chestertown is the second most visited site in all of Maryland. And I think it's because of our regional separation between Easton and what's the next one, Chesapeake City.
There's usually a line there.
People, it's such a convenience, and those people are super friendly. It doesn't matter, even if they can't do it, they'll tell you how to do it, but most of the things they can do. The meeting date, normally our meeting date would be the 2 weeks hence, and I'm suggesting that we change the meeting to
Tuesday, January 16th, the 15th.
Linda's writing me a note. I don't know what it's all about.
17th, right?
Okay, that's funny.
It's not funny.
It's Linda's birthday. We're changing the meeting to Tuesday, January 16th, due to Martin Luther King Day, the day before. Now, if it's your birthday, do you want to go to Wednesday, or do you want to not be here?
No,
on the
mine's
Wait,
the
well-
15th.
You're bringing
Okay.
cake.
You're really distracting me from my mission here.
It doesn't usually fall on the same day.
Isn't that
So,
something? Anyway, is that okay with council? Everybody okay on that date?
That's good.
That Tuesday? Press okay with that? The next thing is, sometimes it takes us a while to get the photographs of the new council members up on our website, but we're going to try to get that done a lot quicker than when you're leaving office this time. So Jen's taking care of that. You made the initial inquiries today. What did you find out?
I did. Well, I did hear from Francois, but not until I got back to work this evening. And she said she actually thinks that Sam took the pictures last time and sent them along. But we can take pictures on our phone and send them to her. So
well, we can.
whatever we want to do.
I'm
You
sure
can
there's
send me
somebody that
one.
might be able to help us with
That's
great
fine.
photographs.
Just
of
need
our-
a face. Look, Armand's already taken your picture. He's gonna
Something-
send it.
And you can use it on your passport if you like, so it really comes in handy.
Yeah, but we already have your names up with the town seal over top, so we just have to get actual pictures.
And really, there's been a lot going on. We spent a lot of time on the marina, as we did today, working out arrangements for spoil sites and all that. So I don't have anything else to report. But welcome to the panel, to both of you.
Thank you.
Okay, that brings us to the mayor's report. I'll be very brief since I already read a 7-page report earlier. Christmas contest winners, I know you guys have been waiting for this
Yes.
with bated breath. Okay, in the first award, first place, receiving a $50 prize will be Paul Osborne of 213 Birch Run Road. Second place in the first award, receiving a $25 prize.
Cabot.
Cabot.
and Loretta
Cabot,
Lodge.
all right. I know Loretta. I know Cabot, but I don't know how to, I don't know, maybe the T was silent. So Cabot and Loretta Lodge, 129 Philosopher's Terrace, second place in the first award. In the second ward, Linda Kuiper's ward, $50 first prize goes to Tony Hurley, 221 Mount Vernon Avenue. And the second place winner, receiving $25, Richard Cavany, 102 South Water Street. In the third ward, the first place winner, $50, Erica and Patricia Kilby of 227 Devon Drive. And the $25 second prize goes to Sage and Keefrey Edwards, 329 Devon Drive. In the fourth ward, receiving the $50 first place is Monica Tegadar, 202 East Campus Avenue, and $25 second place to Sheila and William Lepter of 201 Glen Street. And lastly, in the commercial winner was People's Bank, basically totally dressing up two separate locations. The one right here downtown on Spring Avenue, and also their Washington Avenue location, just outlining the entire building and put up all kinds of lights on trees and just looked really, really nice. So thank you to all residents and commercial entities who decorate. It really, really enlivens and makes the town look really nice. So that's my report, keeping it brief. So why don't we start, for our ward reports, we'll start over here with Marty and work our way this way. Well, you know, you're the veteran, so we need a little veteran leadership right now.
Well, I had two incidents in the fourth ward that I think that I might want to comment on. The first one was a very tragic death of a pedestrian who was crossing the roadway at nighttime. Well, it gets dark or early anymore, and got struck. And there's no crosswalk where he was crossing. It was up close to the Bluebird. So we all just have to take cautions when we're driving to look for the pedestrians and for cars. The pedestrians have to take some responsibility too and make sure that when they do cross, they do it in a safe manner. And the second thing was, I get up early. I was usually about 5 o'clock, and I was reading on New Year's Day, and my lights went out, totally out. So I thought, well, somebody's coming home awful late from a New Year's Eve party and clipped the pole off. But after an hour and a half, it came back on. And I went out, I was on my way to the dog park and back, and I saw the two trucks. And my comment is that they were there, and my electric was back within an hour and a half on a holiday. they certainly deserve some credit for doing that. And all it was an overload. Too much electric, and it blew a large circuit breaker up on a pole. So, but I think too often we see them on nice sunny days out there in their truck, and we don't realize that they also come out on holidays when it's 14 degrees. So,
Brutal.
they deserve credit for that. And that's about it for the Fourth Ward. Otherwise, everything is pretty good. At least if it isn't, I haven't heard about it. So
All right, good.
we'll let Mr. Tyler give his.
I say again and again that I'm extremely excited about serving as the Third Ward representative on Town Council, and I've already been busy out in the neighborhood taking a look at things. One thing I want us to try to focus on as quickly as we can is the traffic situation in front of Garnett in the mornings. There's a problem with people dropping kids off, and it's becoming an extremely unsafe situation. I know the chief has been in contact with the chief. I've been in and met with the principal there at the school, but I want to ask council members to, let their constituents know that they're the ones that bring their kids to Garnett. It's not necessarily the people that live in that neighborhood that are causing the problem. So if we could bring some attention to that. I also want to continue to stay focused on some of the things that Sam was working on, in particular, internet connectivity throughout the town, and I'm real excited about getting the Washington Park project off and running. One of the major focuses for me as the Third Ward representative is to advocate the Third Ward. I'm happy and appreciative about what goes on downtown and with the marina, but it's the neighborhoods that make Chestertown a great place to live, and I think we need to not forget the focus on the neighborhoods.
Amen to that. I've been
So I'm
10 years president. It's not just downtown. There is a whole
I'm going to be a
town.
big advocate on Third Ward. Decisions that I'm going to make are going to be, well, how's this going to affect things in the Third Ward? So thank you for allowing me to serve. I'm excited.
With Garnett, is there a crossing
Well,
guard
see,
there?
that's the problem.
Yes, Melford Murray is the crossing.
Oh,
In the
yeah.
mornings he is, and there seems to be some personality issues with Milford and some of the people that drive in and out. So, because I know Audrina does it in the afternoon, and I did hang out one afternoon with her. It was very smooth, but I haven't done the morning shift yet. It's gotten too cold, and I don't want to get out there. But I know I'm going to have to do it just so I can see firsthand what it looks like,
Okay.
and then I may be able
It's
to
a
come
shame
back.
there isn't some way that they could drop them off the roadway, like in the backyard where that big field is. If they could make a turnaround there where people.
Well, all the buses go back up in there. And then there's been a lot of weird proposals, putting stop signs up, making it a one-way street. But I think, and one of the things that I mentioned to Ms. Rose is that the school needs to make some awareness efforts with the parents. Send a letter home, put it on their website. But they haven't done that part of it, but they're coming to us with their concern. I was going to use another word, but I'll back up off on that. But they're coming to us with the concern, and I'm bringing it to the table for you all to let your constituents know that to be careful when they drive through Garnett in the mornings.
Can I make a suggestion? I was thinking there would be less buses than cars, probably, or you might want to, find out, are there less buses dropping kids off at Garnett than vehicles? And you could switch it and do the buses out front
That's a
and
good
do
idea.
the cars in the back, because you can come in the back and do the U-turn and go right back out to the street again.
That's a thought, and I'll put it out there and let them maybe consider it.
Because, when my granddaughter was there, I always parked in the church parking lot and walked across the street.
I had two daughters that went there, and one of the things that really helped up there was the 10-foot wide raised crosswalk. Before that, it was even more reckless and wild, and it's, believe me, as a parent, I can tell you, it's mainly parents who are in a hurry to get to work.
Yeah.
their children are almost an afterthought to them as they barrel off in their lives. And we've all been there, but, and we put up all kinds of signs, but that raised crosswalk was a big help because, and Ordrina is fantastic at it, and if it's well done, it is well done. It takes vigilance, and it's not, nobody can look the other way because it's parents, and sometimes it's, it's just a matter of tightening it up.
Right. And it's gotten worse since, with the school closings, and there are more people now coming to Garnett than there were before.
And I like the idea of changing things, that could help, but they have to join in. The school has to join in with us, and I've talked to one principal after another about it and thought that we had it under control, but I can see that it's really...
But that's a really good point, that there's a lot more people there. And so it's just a different management issue because of the volume.
Right.
They have a much greater volume than they've ever had before, at least in recent
And don't you have the Head Start on the corner? Because I've had complaints from 10th Street, the people, the end of the school. It's the Head Start.
It was, but I'm
I
not
think
sure.
they moved that around on the other side.
I don't think it's, I haven't heard from that lady in a year or two.
Yeah, I used to have complaints on Kent Street for people pulling up along at that end, and the kids would go in the back. So I haven't had an occasion to be there for over a year now. So, but anyway, just a thought.
Well, that's good. We'll definitely keep an eye on that, because that's an important safety issue.
I know.
All right, Ward 2.
Okay. I was so glad one of our goals for 2018 is to support all events, festivals, and celebrations that bring our town to light. I'm the beggar person for volunteers. Nathan, you probably know that.
We've appreciated that.
Okay, and getting with the permit for the Chestertown, I got an email from Sue Bressner from People's Bank, who is asking for volunteers. If you'd like to volunteer and you don't know how to get a hold of her because she's going to be gone from January 4th to the 20th, you can send me an email and I'll forward this email to you, because they need help with decorating the tent in the morning, selling tickets, manning some of the tables, selling hot chocolate, and cleaning up. And it's a really fun event with a lot of music and the parade, and it's another event that gets better every year. The Chamber of Commerce is having their annual awards gala on January 26th, and anyone who wants to make a nomination for Business Leader of the Year, Environmental Awareness, Outstanding Business of the Year, Community Service, Best New Business, can make their nomination to Loretta Lodge at the Kent County Chamber of Commerce, which is on the second floor of the Visitor Center, by January 12th. And I am going to be the chairperson for the Death by Chocolate Bake Sale in February at the Historical Society, which will be February 13th and 14th. And the farmer's market is open all winter.
I never mentioned the dog park, and you told me you were going to do that.
Do I get $1 or what?
You got $1 this time.
And that's all I have right now.
Okay, how about Ward 1?
Ward 1. I guess as the only candidate who actually had a contested election here, I want to give a sound out to the people I campaigned and met, including people who didn't vote for me. They were pleased to talk. They were pleased to have somebody come into their homes and ask them about what the issues were. It was something I dreaded, going door to door, and it was actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
Really?
It really was.
Yeah, it's up.
And I had a little cart to ride around on. And raise a traffic issue, and it's an issue that you all have heard about. You pass through the intersection every day when you go home. But I've got a young lady in my ward who keeps hitting me up on this, and that's when you cross from Ward 1 into Ward 2 you're going on Philosopher's Terrace and you're crossing Maple Avenue, and people coming through there expect, if somebody coming the other way is in the left lane, that they're going to turn left.
Yeah.
That's an accident waiting to happen. And I recognize it's a state highway issue, but I'd like to at least get several options out on the table. What would it cost to solve that? How many different options are there? And see what kind of an option we have. It really is an accident waiting to happen. I think we need to.
It's a terrible design.
It is.
I mean, it's...
I think we may have missed an opportunity when 7-Eleven went in there not to get a lane out of that.
Yeah.
But that would be expensive to do now. But I'd like to see what sort of option we have. Separate thing, and this is more of a personal note. I had an opportunity to meet with Alex Castro right before Christmas. I was down in Florida on family health problems. Found that Alex lived right next door.
Wow.
And contacted him. He was so pleased to be recognized with the Broad Reach thing, and he really considers himself a proud alumni of Chestertown. Continues to follow what goes on here.
That's great.
And so it was a pleasure to.
So were you down in the, is he down in the Keys?
No, he's in Sarasota.
Okay.
And the weather is beautiful there at this moment. So.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. There were no requests from the public to be on the agenda this evening. Are there any questions or comments from the audience this evening?
Yeah, I'm thrilled to hear that possibly the rail trail will be extended. And my firm belief is the farther you extend that, the more people will come and use it. Even in cold weather, I think if you go out on that trail, you'd be surprised how many people you see walking around. So I'm very happy to hear about that. I have a question about the Mardi Gras thing that's happening. What do you call it?
Chester Gras.
Chester Gras. Normally, well, for the past 2 years, the parade did not include High Street. Is it going to this year?
It looks like they're gonna leave out of Dixon Drive and come down High this year.
So they
It's a
will
little bit
do
of a
that.
change.
Okay.
And then go around down
Okay.
Lawyers Row and back through.
So that's all, I just wanted to make sure about that. Something else was mentioned about Washington Park. Where is Washington Park?
Good
Remember
question.
Dollar
Third
might
ward.
know.
Kind of tucked way back.
For lack of a better description, it's right across the street from the Kent Public, what do they call it now? The public health, not health, public safety complex. Out on Flatland Road as you're headed toward, you know where Coventry Farms is, by any chance?
No?
You know where the
Okay.
jail is, or the detention center?
Yeah, I didn't want to say that.
I know you're not getting anywhere.
Right
Radio
across the
station,
street.
for the radio.
That's what they call the street in the detention center.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, so it's right across the street, and there's a development there called Washington Park.
Yes.
And the park that we're talking about within Washington Park is kind of like way in the back,
That's
right
within
rear
Washington.
corner. So if you wanted to go see this land, it's not gonna be right off of Flatline Road. You gotta go through the community and
Yeah.
kind of back into the community. But it's actually probably, I don't know,
Oh, it's-
15 acres, 10 acres?
Yeah, it's a nice
not as-
spot.
It's almost like Wilmore Park-ish in size. And I'd never been there before I became mayor because it's kind of off the beaten track.
It is.
It's also like been a traditionally African-American neighborhood
Yes,
since
yes.
it was founded.
By Miss Carpenter was the one
Yeah.
that initiated
It's kind of a neat
that development.
backstory to it.
Yeah. You'll
That's
find
why it
out.
was built.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool spot.
Carpenter built it for that reason.
But one other kind of bike trail, I really think that that could be a good way to bring more commerce and more visitors to town, not just the arts. I think, well, I know the Baltimore Bike Club comes down here and others.
Yeah.
I think if we could really extend it a good ways, I think it would be.
Yeah, I know the
Riding on the street, I'm sorry, it's not.
The big vision was for the town to do everything that the town can do and hopefully have the county pick it up from the edge of town on that leg and bring it to the community center, because it would be so awesome if you could get on a bike It's really not that far to Wharton on a bike. It's probably less than a 30-minute ride. It's probably 20 minutes. And for kids in our community that don't have access to public transportation or a car, a lot of those kids can have access to a bike, and I think they would go out there. But I think it would be, you get to a critical mass where you have enough rail trail to spend half a day riding on it. But the county's got to pick up the ball where we leave it off, and to this point, they haven't been on board for whatever reason.
Well, the grant that was really just for engineering. In the beginning, Gilchrist got us a $300,000 grant, gave it to the county to engineer a trail from the Wilmer Park to Wharton. And the county just said, no, but could Chestertown use it? And so we used it for not only design, but for construction of phase 1. So we stretched the money a long way. And we're trying to get it to the border, like the mayor says, so that to the interest, and we get this all the time. Can it go out to Wharton? And,
Yeah, that would be ideal, and I do think that there is a little change of heart with the county. I mean, they were adamant against it at one time.
they have pressures. They have political pressures. They have a couple of large property owners who are dead set against it due to incidents that they've had with their farming operations vis-a-vis bicyclists or pedestrians. So when people jump off their bike and say, what are you spraying? To a farmer who's busy trying to get 500 acres done before the end of the day, there's a friction there that you don't get from passing cars. And so I understand how those individuals feel, but at some point, someday, it's going to be this mode of transportation, safer way, and really a lot more direct to Wharton than going all the way out to Hopewell Corner and going up. It probably takes a mile off the trip. Anyway,
it's exciting we're going to try to do all that we can. Hopefully this calendar year we'll finish it off. Any other questions or comments? All right, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second, nobody wants a second.
You're the new second guy. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
you can work your way up to.
We're unanimously adjourned.
Making the motion.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'll be next month.
You guys can do it.